So they're moving Donald Trump's inauguration indoors. Take a look.
Tonight, frigid weather becomes the first clear threat to safety for Monday's inauguration. President-elect Trump on social media, "I don't want to see people hurt or injured," as he announced, "I have ordered the inauguration address, prayers, and other speeches to be delivered in the United States Capitol Rotunda."
Now, I don't know how cold it's going to be in Washington, D.C. on Monday, but the last time they had to do this was 1985. It was 7 degrees when Ronald Reagan was due to be inaugurated again.
I, Ronald Reagan, do solemnly swear.
Actually, the president was sworn in, as the Constitution requires, in a private White House ceremony at high noon earlier this day. Even though the cold weather is forcing cancellation of the inaugural parade, the reenactment of the swearing-in ceremony tomorrow is still the centerpiece of a weekend of events.
It was so cold that this reporter had to wear a ridiculous hat.
Despite extreme cold, the nation's capital is aglow tonight with the fever of presidential inauguration.
Reagan had just been reelected in a landslide, and they were going to have a big inaugural parade like they always do, and instead they said, we're going to cancel it outright. Now, it looks like the inaugural parade will happen as scheduled in the cold this time. But back in 1985, they had a different idea. They moved it to the Capitol Center, which was a sporting arena. The Wizards played there. It was open from 1973 until the spring of 2002, and then it was demolished later that year. But back then, it was the home for all of the marching bands. It was a unique setup, and the president was there to greet them and cheer them on. And I think this has to be such a big honor for all of the kids involved. You play all year, and now marching band is going to be the focus of the attention of the nation. And so it was good that they got this sort of make good of doing their parading indoors. Interestingly about Ronald Reagan, he had been one of the hosts of Disneyland on its opening day.
And this is Frontierland. Inside this stockade, Walt Disney has created a frontier village that could have been carved out of the wilderness 100 years ago by the pioneers themselves.
This connection to the Walt Disney Company stayed with Ronald Reagan for the rest of his life, and he did numerous appearances and recorded messages for the parks. Meanwhile, Michael Eisner, head of the Disney Company, he has an idea. Let's invite Ronald Reagan to Epcot, our newest park, and he can watch these bands as they march around the World Showcase. They were there in their outfits, which were very warm wool outfits because they were designed to be in the cold in winter. But here it was, Memorial Day.
Well, indeed, it is an honor for me to be here today, and a second and very much warmer Inauguration Day. I understand that in preparing for this event, more than 2,500 young people worked with sponsors in the private sector, and each of you who helped to make this private sector initiative possible has my heartfelt thanks.
Now, the president showed up and had his motorcade go all the way around Epcot.
He requested it of Disney officials because he wanted the chance to get a close-up look at all those kids who so desperately wanted to play for him.
Reagan was in the limousine with the red flashing lights.
Buoyed by medical breakthroughs and rising standards of living, the life expectancy of Americans has been increasing steadily for 50 years. I've already surpassed my own life expectancy at my birth by 20 years. Now, there are a lot of people that find that a source of annoyance.
By the way, Ronald Reagan was 73 years and 349 days old. This made him the oldest U.S. president to be inaugurated until Joe Biden came in at the age of 78 years and 61 days. But that number will be broken on Monday because Donald Trump will be 78 years, 7 months, and 6 days old. I hope you enjoyed this story, and for more stories like this, go ahead and subscribe.